What's good, YouTube? C1 Mac back in the building, back with another video. Today, we're going to be watching this couple going farther together. It's going to be talking about it's an oldie but a goodie. It's a video that was made in May. I just finally got around to it. 3 countries we regret visiting out of the 10 that they tried. Uh, I'm going to say they may not have made it directly for this, but in my personal opinion, the reason why I watched this video is because from a black person perspective, especially a black person in the US, that's where I'm at. You want to go to countries that you feel welcome. Like you already taking a vacation or a break from the US a little bit just to see some different culture. You don't want to go and see the same thing, if you will, like the racism, the this, the that, all of that. You want to go and be able to enjoy yourself without having to look over your shoulder or be extra aware of your surroundings and stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The link of their channel is going to be in the description box below.
We've been traveling full time for a while now, and along the way, we visited some really incredible countries, and a few that, if we're being honest, we don't have any plans of returning to. So in this video, we're sharing 7 countries we absolutely love, so much so that we've already revisited some of them.
And 3 countries that didn't live up to the hype and just didn't work for us. If you're planning your next trip or building your travel bucket list, this video will give you the insight as full-time travelers who've experienced these places firsthand. From local culture and safety, to ease of getting around, and the overall vibe, we're breaking it all down.
And sorry about the last video, we did not mean to leave y'all hanging in part 1, so let's start off where we left off and begin with the negatives this time. The first country that disappointed us was the United Kingdom, specifically London. Now, London is one of the most expensive cities in the world, and you feel that immediately. Hotels, Ubers, restaurants, even grabbing a snack, it feels like you're draining your budget.
Granted, before arriving in London, we just flew in from Southeast Asia, where almost everything is affordable and at a fraction of what it costs in the western side of the world. So of course that added to the major contrast for us.
Also, the weather was super dreary, and while we did know that London had a reputation for this, the gray skies and the drizzle almost daily, it really does affect your mood. Also, it doesn't really feel foreign enough for us personally, and if you're like us and you're traveling to feel immersed in something totally different, London might feel a bit too familiar, especially for Americans. It's going to be English speaking, lots of American brands, and a similar city structure, so it feels more like New York's cousin than an adventure abroad.
Okay, this one hurts to say because we love Bali. I've actually been twice, and both times were absolutely amazing. The food, the culture, the people, and the pace of life is honestly magical, like it's something that I can get used to. But if we're being real, it's changed a lot in the last couple years. These days, it's packed with so many tourists to the point where it doesn't even feel like Bali anymore. The charm that made it special is kind of buried under traffic jams and the constant construction.
And then there's the environmental side, and we started to feel a little uneasy about our role in that. You know, from the water shortages to the plastic pollution and the overdevelopment, it's clear that tourism is straining the island, and it just can't really handle it right now.
And we never want to be the kind of travelers that take more than we give, so while Bali will always hold a special place in our hearts, for now, we're hitting pause on it.
The last country we want to touch on in this category is Abu Dhabi, and this one is honestly the most conflicting for me to talk about because we did genuinely have a great time while we were there.
Abu Dhabi is absolutely stunning. The architecture is incredible. The infrastructure is world class. The food scene is great as well, and we've met some genuinely wonderful people there. On the surface, it checks a lot of boxes for what you would want in a travel destination.
But here's the thing. While we did have a good time there, there's some serious issues that we can't ignore that make it really hard to recommend to our community.
First, there's the treatment of migrant workers, particularly African migrant workers, and this is where it gets really uncomfortable. The kafala system, which is basically a sponsorship system that ties workers to their employers, create conditions that are honestly disturbing.
That's where you get the horror stories that we kept running into. Passports being taken, people not being allowed to change jobs or leave the country without permission. And we all know that Abu Dhabi gets hot. So hearing about workers being forced into long hours in extreme heat with weak enforcement of protections is not something that sits right with us.
There's a clear hierarchy where Western expats are treated one way and lower paid African and South Asian workers are treated completely different. So as Black Americans, we might be welcomed as tourists with our passports and money, but it doesn't feel right to enjoy that knowing how many Black Africans are being exploited in the same exact country.
That's not something that we're just going to overlook because we had some nice meals and saw some beautiful buildings.
And what really gets to me is the fact that Abu Dhabi has all of this wealth and all this development, luxury experiences, but it's built on the backs of exploited workers who look like us. It's one of those places where the more you learn about what's happening behind the scenes, the less comfortable you become with supporting it, even if your individual experience was positive. Of course, we do not want to end this video on a heavy note because that is not what travel is all about for us.
Before they get into anything else, I still want to. I think I still like UK. Like I still want to go to UK just because, considering I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Like, it only makes sense for me to be in Birmingham, UK. Like across the pond, stuff like that. However, I want to be able to enjoy myself. So I think looking at some historical places, I think that the UK, outside of really just looking at the bars, really looking at trying to find where the culture really is, I think going to the UK will honestly be a tourist spot for me. Now, with that being said, if there was a way for me to combine it to make it more than that, I would love for it, to go stop by UK, see how London is, see how Birmingham is, and then go over into Ireland. I think Ireland for me will be more than just a touristy spot. I think there's a lot of questions and answers that I would need from Ireland, considering that I have some roots back there. So that would make the whole trip worthwhile. Honestly, I think that would take up enough of my time just trying to figure that out. Bali, I can understand why Bali can be oversaturated and everybody's making the adjustments to welcome more tourist people in, which is it's a good thing that they getting enough business, but now they're trying to fit more people, more tourists in there. However, considering me as beautiful as Bali could be and is, I think I'm always a big person that's big on, like, anytime I visit anywhere, like whether I'm in the US, outside the US, I'm always big on what the culture does. Like throughout the week, you go through the week, where do y'all go to eat? Where do y'all go to enjoy yourselves? I think the people always matter for me. Understanding what their country means to them, this, that, and the other. I think that is such a big and important thing. Sometimes in certain cases, you do need to stay in tourist spots to be safe, but I always want to go and kind of embrace authentic parts of the country or wherever I'm going to, town, city, whatever.
Travel shouldn't.
Abu Dhabi, I always hear the fun parts of Abu Dhabi, but knowing this, I could go to Abu Dhabi if I was like passing by or if there was some business to discuss. It does look beautiful, I ain't gonna lie. But knowing that is going on, will kind of put me off in a way, put me in really, really bad and not being able to enjoy myself, to be honest. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to hold off on that.
Inspire you
Let's hope the conditions get better. For real.
and open your mind and leave you with incredible memories and experiences.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the places that blew us away. These are the destinations where we felt genuinely welcome, where our money was well spent, and where we're already planning return trips.
Starting with the country that completely surprised us and has honestly become one of our favorite destinations.
Really quick though, if you're on the YouTube mobile app, tap that new hype button that's right under this video. You can only hype videos in their first week, and it really helps small channels like ours reach new people.
But whether you're on mobile or not, don't forget to hit that like button. We appreciate that as well. But back to the countries that we love, Malaysia.
Yeah, they're like
If
button,
someone
y'all.
would have told us a year ago that Malaysia would become one of our top recommendations, we probably would have been skeptical. But here we are, and we cannot stop talking about this country.
We lived in Malaysia for a bit, and let me tell you, this place is 100% underrated. It's modern, it's diverse, and compared to other countries we've been to, it's very, very affordable. So if you've been sleeping on Malaysia as a destination to visit or to live abroad in on a budget, you definitely need to reconsider. What makes Malaysia so special is that it's this perfect blend of so many different cultures. You've got Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous influences all living together. And you can literally taste this diversity in the food. We're talking about some of the best street food in the entire world, and I am not exaggerating.
The food scene alone is worth the trip. The variety and the quality is absolutely insane.
But even beyond the food, Malaysia is incredibly modern and developed. You have Kuala Lumpur, which feels like a first world city with world-class infrastructure, reliable internet, and excellent public transportation. And of course, we also have to think about healthcare, and it rivals anything that you're going to find in the West, but at a fraction of the cost.
Speaking of costs, Malaysia is ridiculously affordable. You can live very comfortably on $1,200 to $2,000 per month. A nice apartment in KL runs between $400 to $800. Meals cost $2 to $6. And even luxury experiences like spa treatments are incredibly cheap compared to Western standards. What really impressed us is how English-friendly Malaysia is. English is widely spoken, especially in the cities, so there is no language barrier. All the signs are in English, business is conducted in English, and you can navigate everything without learning Malay. Although people do appreciate it when you attempt to try.
The diversity means you can also never go bored in Malaysia. Of course, you can explore Kuala Lumpur like we were just mentioning, but you can also relax in beautiful beaches in Langkawi or Penang. You can also experience more traditional cultures in their smaller towns, or go hiking in the incredible national parks. It's like having multiple countries all in one.
And something that really stood out to us is that Malaysia is incredibly safe. We felt comfortable walking around at all hours, the crime rates are low, and as Black Americans, we never experienced any discrimination or uncomfortable situations.
And the weather, it's tropical year-round, so if you love warm weather and you don't mind some humidity, it's perfect.
Malaysia is one of those countries that checks off every box: affordability, safety, modern infrastructure, great food, cultural diversity, and English speaking. It's honestly hard to find flaws in this place. Now, if Malaysia opened your eyes to what's possible in Southeast Asia, Panama did the same thing for Central America, but with the added bonus of being just a few hours from the U.S.
Panama is honestly a game changer, especially for retirees. And once you hear about their Pensionado program, you'll understand why so many Americans are quietly making the move there.
What makes Panama incredible is that it offers something that most countries don't: the Pensionado visa program, which is legitimately one of the most generous retirement visa programs in the entire world. If you're 18 or older with a pension of just $1,000 per month, you qualify. That's it. No massive investment required, and no jumping through crazy hoops.
And the benefits are insane because we're talking about 50% off entertainment.
Let's look. What time duty tax exemption for home items as much as $10,000? Duty exemption for importing a brand new car every 2 years. What? So they already got stuff planned for if you even plan on living in the country. and you just want to transfer your stuff. They already know 50% off entertainment any place in the nation. 30% off public transportation. Okay. Wow, 25% off airplane tickets. 50% off hotel accommodations from Monday to Thursday. Wow. Okay. Y'all see the rest. Hold up. I'm looking. 50% decrease in settlement costs for house loans. Like, I guess my biggest concern is when I own a property, like I own it, right? Like not like America where it's like you just feel like you're owning it for a temporary period of time. Like, I'm curious. Yeah, you look
25%
into
off
more.
airline tickets, 30% off bus fares. It's like having a permanent senior discount on everything, but way better than anything that you're going to get in the States.
The proximity to the U.S. is huge. You can fly back to visit family in just a few hours from most major U.S. cities, so you get that international living experience without feeling completely cut off from home.
And here's something that makes Panama super practical. The US dollar is the official currency. There's no exchange rate headaches, no currency conversion, and no wondering if you're getting ripped off. Your American dollars work exactly the same way that they do in the US.
The cost of living is where Panama really shines. You can live very comfortably on $1,500 to $2,500 per month. We're talking about a nice apartment, eating out regularly, having a social life, and still having money left over. Compare that to what you'd spend in any major U.S. city for a fraction of the lifestyle.
And Panama's healthcare system is excellent too, with many doctors trained in the U.S. A doctor's visit costs about $25, and we're not talking about $25 after insurance, just $25 period. Prescription medications are significantly cheaper, and the quality of care is genuinely impressive.
The weather is consistently tropical year-round, with temperatures in the 80s, so if you're tired of dealing with seasons, heating bills, and winter clothes, Panama offers that permanent summer vibe that so many retirees are craving.
Now, when it comes to choosing where to live and where to visit in Panama, you've got some really great options. Panama City is going to give you that modern infrastructure and urban conveniences, but you can expect to pay a bit more for that city life.
Bouquet up in the mountains is where you'll find the largest American expat community and perfect spring-like weather year-round. It's cooler than the coast, and it has a small town feel, and the expat infrastructure is incredibly well established.
And if you're dreaming of beach life, Coronado offers you that resort-style living on the Pacific coast with beautiful beaches, golf courses, and a more upscale lifestyle.
And David, Panama's second largest city, gives you the best of both worlds, urban conveniences without the Panama City prices. It's a great base if you want city amenities but don't want to pay the capital city costs.
And what really impressed us about Panama is just how welcoming the culture is to Americans. There's already a very thriving expat community, so the infrastructure for foreigners is well developed. Banks understand expat needs, there are English-speaking services, and the transition process is pretty smooth.
The combination of the generous visa program, the U.S. dollar currency, proximity to home, excellent healthcare, and the established expat community makes Panama almost too good to ignore if you're really thinking about retirement abroad or just want a better quality of life for less money.
Now, if Panama impressed us with its practicality and proximity to the U.S., the Philippines...
Hold up. So we already got two places that I need to add on this list. I just want y'all to know that, right?
Completely won us over with its diversity,
add on to my list, my
amazing
bad.
food, and some of the warmest people we've ever ran into.
The Philippines is one of those destinations that gives you everything: the big city energy, the pristine island beaches, incredible food culture, and prices that honestly make you question why you are paying so much more to live anywhere else.
I spent significant time in Manila, and I have to say, Manila usually gets skipped by most travelers to the Philippines, but it's actually the real heartbeat of the country. Yes, it's loud, it's chaotic, but it's packed with personality, and if you come with the right expectations, it's a really great experience.
Now, Manila's traffic is no joke, so you need to plan your days by the area. But once you figure that out, the city becomes incredibly manageable and affordable. You can eat really well for just a few dollars, transportation is cheap, and even nice restaurants cost way less than what you would pay in the US.
But let's be real, when most people come to the Philippines, they're coming from the islands, and best believe they absolutely deliver. For first-time visitors, we would recommend Palawan, especially El Nido and Coron. Those are those areas that you see on social media with the turquoise waters, limestone cliffs, and the amazing boat tours.
A typical island hopping day tour might be one of your bigger expenses, but it's incredibly reasonable compared to other beach destinations worldwide.
And if you do want some cooler weathers and a break from the tropical heat of the Philippines, then Baguio is a mountain city that feels like a complete reset from the intensity of Manila and the islands. The vibe there is more sweaters at night and mountain views.
The Filipino people are generally some of the warmest, most welcoming people we've encountered anywhere. The hospitality is real, and English is widely spoken.
So for our digital nomads and those looking for longer-term stays, you'll find that the internet infrastructure in the major cities is solid. There's also a growing expat community, and the visa situation is very straightforward for most nationalities.
Now, if the Philippines showed us incredible diversity and value, Kenya offered us something we completely didn't know we were missing, the feeling of being home in a place we've never been before.
As Black Americans, we're used to being the only one in so many of these countries, but it's a breath of fresh air to go someplace where all the people look like you.
It's hard to explain the feeling of being in a place where your Blackness isn't questioned, it isn't politicized, it isn't something that you have to navigate around. You can just be you, and that level of comfortability is priceless.
Kenya is perfect if you want that African experience, but still want some of those modern amenities that you're used to.
English is the primary language, and it has a stable, growing economy. What immediately struck us about Kenya is how welcoming it is, especially to us Black Americans. There's this genuine excitement from locals when they meet Black Americans, not in a touristy way, but in a welcome home kind of way. And that is really hard to describe until you experience it.
The cost of living in Kenya is one of the best benefits from living there and visiting, because you can live very comfortably on even just $800 to $1,500 per month. You can get a nice apartment in Nairobi that's only going to cost around $300 to $600, and your meals are usually only going to cost between $2 to $5.
For visas, Kenya offers several great options. The most popular for long-term stays is the work permit or investment.
As y'all can see here on the Airbnb, I had to check for myself. This is as of June, the end of June 2026. The prices went up. I could imagine that more people definitely went through there. Maybe it's during a certain time of the year. Stuff costs based on festivals, certain cultures, celebrations, the increase in volume. So it's still not bad though. Like for a whole month, this is kind of like the equivalent to your apartment. So it's not bad at all. To be honest with you, this is for a whole month. But mind you, the time that I have on this, which I can't see on here, is from like September to October. So maybe there's something going on during that time of the year. I don't know. But I just wanted to show y'all this part, because I was like, when I heard about it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, huh? Let me go see for myself. Kind of shit. All right, I'll be back with y'all in a minute.
We also have a retirement visa for those over 35 with proof of $24,000 of annual income. The weather in Nairobi is honestly perfect. Spring-like temperatures year-round, usually in the 60s to 70 degrees, no extreme heat, no winter, just consistently pleasant weather, and that makes you want to be outside all the time.
And when it comes to where to live and where to visit, you got some really great options in and around Nairobi. You have Kilimani, which is a solid middle-class neighborhood that's really evolved. There you can find modern, high-rise buildings for that contemporary living lifestyle.
If you have a family or need more space, Thechrismcintyre is excellent with larger properties, and it has a suburban feel. Lovington, which is right next to Killaleshwa, offers a nice mix of homes and villas perfect for middle-class living.
For coastal life, Mombasa is going to give you that Indian Ocean experience with a rich Swahili culture. Each area offers a completely different lifestyle and price points, so do some planning ahead so you can see which one feels right. So while Kenya showed us what it was like to feel at home in a place we've never been before, Georgia completely caught us off guard by becoming one of our favorite countries we've ever visited. And just so we're clear, we're talking about the country, not the state.
Every single time we told people we were living in Georgia, they looked at us confused, like, wait, you're back in America? And honestly, we can't blame them because Georgia, the country, isn't exactly on most people's radar yet, which is exactly why you need to get there before everyone else figures it out. We spent our entire stay in Tbilisi, the capital, and we were absolutely blown away. The people are genuinely kind. The architecture is this incredible mix of old and new. And the food, do not even get us started on Georgian cuisine. It completely exceeded every expectation we had.
Georgian food is one of the most unique cuisines I've ever had. You have kachapori, which is basically a cheese-filled bread, but it's baked to perfection. And you have pankali, which are dumplings that have different fillings like beef or vegetables, and they're delicious and juicy. It's one of those things you definitely have to try for yourselves.
I'm sorry,
One of the absolute highlights was taking the cable cars up to see the Mother of Georgia statue overlooking the city. The views alone are worth the trip to Georgia. We also visited the Chronicles of Georgia, and let me tell you, pictures do not do it justice. You have to visit it yourself. It's this massive monument that feels like you stepped back in time, and it's one of those places you will never forget. You really have to see it in person to understand the scale and the detail. It's absolutely incredible. But honestly, just wandering through Tbilisi is an experience in itself. The old town has these charming cobblestone streets. You can soak in the famous sulfur baths, and there's this perfect mix of ancient history and modern city life that somehow works together perfectly.
Georgia is also one of the oldest wine regions in the world. We're talking 8,000 years of winemaking tradition. So if you're into wine at all, you definitely need to book a wine tour. The traditional Georgian winemaking methods are really fascinating, and the wine, it's incredible and tastes delicious.
The best time to visit Georgia is late spring, May to June, or early fall, September to October. You'll get this pleasant weather, fewer tourists, and the landscapes are absolutely stunning. And here's the best part. Georgia is incredibly affordable. You can have an amazing meal with wine for under $15. We stayed in one of the nicest Airbnbs we've ever had, and it cost us a fraction of what we pay for something similar in major U.S. cities.
The visa situation is also incredibly easy too, with most nationalities, including Americans, able to stay for up to a full year without a visa. That's unheard of, and it makes Georgia a perfect place for digital nomads or anyone wanting to do a longer-term stay. The internet is excellent, especially in the capital, so it's perfect for remote work. There's a growing digital nomad community, there's lots of co-working spaces, and the time zone works well for both European and some U.S. business hours.
Now, if Georgia surprised us by completely being off most people's radar, Albania is hands down the most underrated destination in Europe, and we cannot understand why more people aren't talking about this country.
Albania is what Europe used to be before it got overrun with tourists and became overpriced. You can get Western European quality, beautiful coastlines, rich history, stunning mountains.
We spent weeks exploring Albania, and honestly, it felt like we barely scratched the surface. What makes Albania so special is the incredible diversity that's packed into a relatively small country. You could be hiking in the Albanian Alps in the morning and then swimming in the crystal clear waters all in the same day if you choose to.
And the Albanian Riviera is absolutely beautiful. We're talking about beaches that don't even begin to compare to anything that you're going to find in Greece or Italy, and it's going to be without the crowds and the premium prices.
Saranda and Durrës were our favorite coastal cities. They offer this perfect balance between modern amenities and that laid-back Mediterranean vibe, plus some of the best seafood you'll ever taste is there, and the prices you cannot beat. you can have an incredible seafood dinner with wine for under $20.
But Albania is more than just beautiful beaches. The history there is also incredible. You can explore their ancient ruins, visit the communist-era bunkers that tell the story of Albania's unique past, or you can even just wander through villages that make you feel like you stepped back in time.
Toronto, the capital, is this vibrant, colorful city that is full of energy and creativity. The street art scene is great, the coffee culture is very strong there, and there's this youthful energy that makes the city feel like it's alive and exciting.
And one of the things that really impressed me about Albania is just how affordable most things are. You'll be able to stay in nice accommodations for around $30 to $50 per night, and be able to have incredible meals, all for just around $5 to $10. Most tours and activities are going to be just...
Y'all know what I gotta do. Y'all know what I gotta do. Be right back. All right, so these apartments look pretty, like, whoever put these apartments together are amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, just looking at the very first one alone is crazy. I just want y'all to see what the prices is monthly. This is for like 1 month. 1 month, you know, these prices are equivalent to Western civilization per se, just for Airbnb, which is not bad. Not bad. So give y'all that update, because you know sometimes people, you know, it'll show a price a year or two back or whenever the video showed, and this is June 2026. This is what it got upgraded to, so I guess more people know about it. More people are visiting, so they can afford to raise the prices to get a profit off of it. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, I'll be back with y'all in a second. So yeah, there's a few good countries. There's a few good options that that I would want to do, from Bali to Malaysia to even Georgia. There's some places that I you know, will probably be in the back burner until later on in life. Well, it's not really later on in life, but you know, priority. I want to see as many options as possible. I'm big on, I ain't trying to be there like a tourist per se. I know I will stick out like a sore thumb in certain countries, but like, I want to be able to, if you will, be introduced to the country. I want the country's introduction. Sometimes that could be in the city. Sometimes that could be to the outskirts of the city in order to really embrace the country and get a really good sense of the food, the culture, the people. Don't get me wrong, nice restaurants is nice restaurants, but is it a place that most people will go to in their hometown? Like things like that. That's what I would really want to know. Other than that, y'all let me know what countries y'all would recommend. Shout out to Going Farther Together. They do have a lot more content to discuss a lot of different more countries. They definitely will give you some more information and their honest opinion on a lot of stuff. So please check their channel out. In my honest opinion, there's a lot of places that anybody can go to, but for me specifically, being a African American, a Black American, people similar to my shade of color, we will want to go somewhere where we can take a load off without having to worry about being discriminated against. Being able to enjoy ourselves fully, to embrace the culture, to see some breathtaking views. I'm not gonna sit there and come with no kind of crazy type of energy, like, unless it's like excitement. I'll be excited that, you know, I get the chance to visit an awesome place that was molded and shaped to be beautiful in its own way, and that's breathtaking, and you know, be able to look at the people that do their parts to make it that way. So let me know what other countries y'all recommend. I definitely will be looking. I'll definitely be on Airbnb. Until next time, until next video, peace.